Imagine out there a world of green meadows and sheep and beautiful countryside. Now imagine a world where I climb to the top of Penivant to show you that. Imagine a world where Cardiff actually gives you good weather. Bloody hell. This is Airbnb Feast, South Wales. From that wet and windy hellscape to this one. Welcome to Swansea. Now, don't get salty about it. I'm only kidding. It doesn't take long to gain some sort of sense of rivalry living in Cardiff for 6-7 months. But, you know, I'll be seeing what Swansea's got to offer. I'll be heading over to the market and doing all my shopping there. And we're in this Airbnb, but won't be staying here to do the cook. We're going to take in the cook a little bit more rural. Being by the seaside, this gives you a fair indication of where this is headed. A bit of fish inspiration, walk along the waterfront, and it reinforces the direction of this Airbnb feast. It seems there is absolutely no escaping it. I was on a mission, I was on a plane. The market itself is divided into 3 sections. I was after the fresh food section. I was on a hunt for local ingredients. These are from Swansea? Okay, cool. I'll grab sea bass as well, thanks. Just gonna grab some of those. Gonna grab some scallops. Hell yes. Good to see Ro on. Can I get like a handful of samphire as well, please? You don't have any laverbread behind there, do you? I should have expected this. It was all about the fish. So just deciding what I need. The selection here is absolutely wild. Some would say perhaps better than Cardiff.
That's 146, a bit more now.
Nah, it's perfect. There's only 2 of us. Okay. A couple of lemons and a couple of oranges, please.
2 is there?
Just 2, yeah, just 2 lemons, and we'll go 2 oranges as well. When meandering through this market, certain words come to mind like myriad and plethora. That's how I describe this selection of local and imported ingredients, all with that friendly Welsh disposition. Boom. Yep. I'm prepared to admit it, my ability to stay focused while buying ingredients is not my strong point. But I knew I needed laverbread, so I got that, hit the exit, and then went in search of sun. Okay, what I said about Swansea earlier, I officially take it back. The people are lovely, the views are absolutely stunning. The food's delicious and abundant. Cardiff Central Market's got a bit of a rivalry going there. It looks like it's getting a little bit beat because that market was absolutely amazing. But we'll do the Airbnb feast rundown at the Airbnb. I'll go through the ingredients I got and what my plan is. There's not much of a plan. In the meantime, let's enjoy a bit of South Wales. In its absolutely simplest form, this trip was a beach pilgrimage. 3 cliffs, the sort of beach playground that reminded me of the beaches at home. Just as enormous and just as delightfully empty. Certainly seems like a lot of people have found their inner peace, stacking rocks and whatnot. I will say though, these rocks are rather flat. Inner peace I seem to not have. Sometimes you see a photo of a place and you think, oh, that looks lovely, but then in real life it's not that good. This is the antithesis of what Rhossili Bay is. It's beautiful.
As you can probably hear in the mic, it's still quite windy. Today is not a swimming day. It's a nice walking day though.
The beach. It seems to go on for miles. And then, tucked into the cliffs, enclaves with warm, blue pools, dramatic views out and up, and even more dramatic views from the top. It's the kind of place that makes you late for your Airbnb and late for your cook.
Yeah, so I may have gone a little bit overboard with the food and a little bit under with the cabin. It came with absolutely nothing, not even a pot. So I brought the griddle, the Razor Griddle over, and I'm going to try and cook all of this on that. So what we've got here is we've got a bit of asparagus. We're going to grill that up with a bit of salt, a bit of pepper, maybe a bit of citrus. Beautiful fennel there, and the fennel is going to get chopped up as well. It's going to get caramelized with a bit of the cabbage and some of the spring onion. From there, that's just the easy stuff. And here's the hard stuff. We've got a whole sea bass, and we're going to do that stuffed with samphire and a little bit of lemon. Then we've also got scallops, which are just going to get a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a simple sear on both sides. Going to get it nice and perfect in the middle. But the hardest part of all of this is re-tackling laverbread. The laverbread itself is fine. You're just going to mix it in after we're done with it. But what are we doing with it? Well, I bought some local Pembrokeshire potatoes. Now, the issue here is I mentioned that there isn't a pot. And because there's not a pot, I think I'm going to have to cook it in the kettle. The water boiling kettle. Luckily they're quite small. I'll chop them up nice and fine and then we'll just strain them out. And I'm talking low because I'm probably not meant to do that. So those are going to get mashed up and I'm going to make like a grill style mashed potato with orange and mixed in with a little bit of laverbread. Maybe not a mash, maybe some sort of like pobre style potato, but that's going to get paired up with the scallops. And the fish is just going to be by itself. I'm going to put some score marks in it, give it a grill, should be good. No, I wasn't mucking around. How many boils do you think it's going to take to boil a kettle full of potatoes? I didn't catch this sucker. But he's got a decent weight to him. We'll put a few slices in him and get him ready for the grill. So they feel like they're pretty done. That was about 7 or 8 boils for reference. Alright, so now I talked about the built-in strainer. Let's tip her out. So that's all on the griddle now. Well, putting on the fish and the scallops last until I'm like confident that this is actually cooked, because I've loaded it up a whole lot more than I thought. But the potatoes, I'm just amazed. Kettles, everybody, kettles for the win. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to reduce this cabbage down, get it really caramelized, and that's going in now with the fennel. It's going to make it like a nice sort of saucy, sweet thing to go with both the fish and the scallops. The potatoes are the risk here. Potatoes and laverbread, we'll see. But it should be tasty. So I've got no idea how long to cook this fish. I'm gonna go maybe about 10 minutes aside. Comment if that feels wrong, because I think it might be, but we'll see. But as you can see down here, the cabbage and fennel is getting caramelized slash slightly burnt. We've got the potato that came out to be quite the mash, and we've got these on now as well, the old asparagus. So what we're going to do is I've reserved this area for the scallops, and soon this is going to get mixed with the laverbread, and then we'll flip the fish, plate up, and be done. So I'm about ready to flip this fish. I suspect it's going to be an absolute nightmare. I'm so underprepared, but let's just do it. Oh dear. That's not what I'd rate my greatest ever success, but hopefully it tastes good. It should taste good. Do well, fish, do well.
The keen-eyed among you will see that these scallops look quite wet. It's because I haven't patted them dry, and it means that I will not be getting a good sear on them.
So that's the laverbread. You don't know what laverbread is? It is seaweed. That's going in the potatoes now. Looks disgusting. Let's hope it tastes good. Okay, so that was a little bit of a nightmare, but after all of that, I present to you fish with a face only a mother could love, and nearly there scallops on a beautiful ring of potato and laverbread with some samphire. So I've decorated this one as best as I possibly can to hide the train wreck that was doing that fish. There's a few lessons to be learnt. Wait for the fish to flip. It'll want to flip itself. Also bring the right tools, but we'll give it a go. So it looks like it's pretty well cooked. Flavors there. The salt comes from the samphire. You've got the lemon coming through as well. Absolutely delicious. And then underneath we've got all of that. The flavour came through really nicely on that too. And the beautiful local cabbage is quite sweet, and that is accented really well with a bit of fennel and a squeeze of acid here and there. Okay, now on to the main one. We've got the scallops. I don't know what to expect from this. All right, in we go. Amazingly, the scallops are actually reasonably well cooked. The sear could be better, but they taste pretty damn nice. All right, now we'll go in with everything. It's got a bit of potato, it's got a bit of the sweetness from the orange, and then we're going to throw in a little bit of samphire, a salt accent, and we'll see the laverbread on top. That's not what I expected at all. There's not a whole lot of sweetness there. It seems to have been lost a little bit, but it is very, very oceany. Laverbread sticks out quite strongly. It depends how much laverbread you get in each bite, and I think maybe the samphire might be a little bit too much, but when it all comes together, pretty tasty. I think I like this better, but it's so ugly. Time. So I'll give you a little tour of our Airbnb. So just here is our toilet, disconnected from the main event, which is over here. So we've got sort of makeshift table and chairs going on, cooker, a fire pit here, and then up here is the main event. They call it the pod. So here's the cabin. Got some homemade bunk beds right here. Sturdy enough, although the springs are sticking out like crazy. Got our favourite potato kettle, a tiny little fridge, a couple of sofas that I think, or chairs that I think actually turn into beds, and a rug. And that's about it. Perhaps a little bit expensive for what it is, but fun nonetheless. Is, you know, going to an Airbnb isn't necessarily about, you know, putting yourself through a whole lot of luxury. Sometimes it's also about, you know, having a little less, and it works.
Off again. Castles around this area pockmark the landscape, and they're not exactly the fairy tale type. This is Pembroke Castle. Dank, imposing, militaristic, an impressively oppressive symbol of conquest and tumult. Narrow passageways and winding staircases, all to expedite one to a position of advantage.
Oh, that's brutal. Cheese, parsnips, dates there, bit of lamb, brown stuff, some small bird, peas, and uncooked leeks. Who the hell eats uncooked leeks?
To me, they're a symbol of English infection that the Welsh tried to squeeze out on numerous occasions. Perhaps it's that attitude that helps Wales maintain such strong Welshness.
A place's power as a destination is its ability to subvert expectations. You don't expect Wales to be fantastic for food. You don't expect Wales to be fantastic for beaches and beautiful weather. And you also don't expect Wales to give you a lethal sunburn. Yet here we are. Consider me subverted, my expectations at least. Bloody loving it.
Everything's fine. Wouldn't expect.
Wales' landscape sits somewhere between the rolling plains and meadows of England and the hostile beauty of Scotland. Out here, on the extremities, the tithe for summer beauty is winter. However simple this thought is, I suspect, the sunny disposition is easy to maintain when this is where you live.
Trying to evaluate.
This wasn't the intention, but full circle, back at the Brecons, walking up to see Glenefan, or Glenevan. Get that pronunciation correct, come on. Wee bit of a hike. Got a little bit of cloud so I can film. Also protect my ultra toasty, bright red lobster neck. Wonderful. See you at the top.
Was it something that I couldn't quite handle right? An invitation to a thrill. A growing comfort that somehow it will be alright. And I wait, trying to appreciate. And I wait, wanting to accommodate.
All right, say some stuff in the thickest Welsh accent you can muster. Where have we been?
We've been up a slan of Van Vach today by Bach, haven't we, huh? Me, you, and the broad leg.
Yeah. How was it?
Oh, it was amazing, man. We had a little dip as well. Didn't we, cast? It was good.
Yeah,
Pretty warm for this time of year, but
exactly.
you can't put me on the spot like that, man.